Good morning. I wanted to jump on and share my experience with the 5 Marys Small Business from Scratch course. I've done a blog post on it. I did a blog post about 7 months after I originally took the course, back in February of last year. And that covers some really great stuff. It covers our initial experience, immediately growing our business, and how we got our return on investment for the course quite quickly after I came back and had all of the resources. We are now about a year and a half later, and we've had so many changes and just so much goodness that has come to our life because of those resources and the tools and the community. And I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into where we are, where we came from, and just really give a thorough overview of why we believe this course could help you start wherever you are. So, a quick recap of mine and my husband, our family's history. So, we are not natural entrepreneurs. I basically mooched off of my family all the way through college and got through college, and then went on to be a mechanical engineer at the Boeing company. So we were corporate drones. We met there in Washington State. We were corporate drones for 10 years. And then through a series of amazing events, health crisis, all of these things that happened in our life, we decided to make a change. And we set out to be farmers, live a more sustainable life. We wanted to go learn from people. We sold everything we owned, downsized to a travel trailer when I was 5 months pregnant with our first daughter. And that was almost 5 years ago. So we traveled the country. We left Washington State, apprenticed with some other farms, and then ended up about 2 years ago in Tennessee. And we had the opportunity to rent a farm there and start our own business. We had no idea what we were doing. We had no, like I said, no entrepreneur skills whatsoever. And so we kind of trudged along. We know we wanted to build a retreat, and obviously we started raising animals. We've always had a passion for food and cooking food and sharing food with people, but we didn't really know like where to go with that. So just in, I would say, the final hour of our savings was getting low, and just trying to traverse this new life that we were living, 5 Marys announced that she was going to do her first small business from scratch workshop out in Fort Jones. Convinced Justin to invest in that, and I went out there, and now I would say that the rest is history. So I have some notes that I'm going to look at and kind of share the domino effect that happened after taking that workshop. So we had nothing established. I went to the workshop. We didn't have a business name. We didn't have an LLC established. We had nothing going on. And when I actually had my one-on-one, Mary did one-on-ones with each workshop attendee while we were there. And when we did our one-on-one, we established a name. I had a couple ideas rolling around. Some friends had some great input, and so went over that with her, got that sorted out, got a name, didn't have any branding or logo or nothing, right? So during our one-on-one, we actually talked about like curing bacon and finding a void in the market in the area that we were in. And if some of you know that we have successfully created a sourdough business since then. So I really don't know the timeline of when the sourdough thing happened, but it happened, and we'll just press on from there. So within days of coming home from the workshop, we had a brand, recognizable brand. We had a logo. We had our fonts created that were going to kind of personalize our business. We established our LLC. We had some serious momentum. And we also, with the ideas that Mary throws out and how she encourages you to just start where you are, we found a super low budget way to market our retreat a little bit more. And we had my sister-in-law, we paid for her flight to come out, but she was a photographer, so she took pictures for us and just kept finding ways to make it work right exactly where we are with the money that we had, with the information that we had, and the resources that we had. So that's what we did. Over the last year and a half, we started with what we could, continued to sell our sourdough breads, continued to grow a business, shipping those breads directly to people's doorsteps, grew our retreat business, and did all of these things that we were really excited about. Our lease agreement was coming up on the rental farm that we were at. We had made connections with another farm that were doing things really similar to us, doing a retreat, raising animals the way that we would raise animals, and had wanted to take the next step with creating value-added products and making meals and sharing those products with their community. So we decided to join forces, and when Justin and I were growing the business at the farm we were at, it always becomes very clear that we can't do it all. That's never what we intended on. We always intended on growing a community, sharing land with people, sharing fellowship with people, like-minded folks that wanted to do things the same way that we did. And so we had the shipping experience and the food production experience and that whole side of it. And we had kind of went away from growing the animals because we couldn't do it all. And then we had this farm family, Crossing Creeks Farm, they're raising the animals and they're doing that side of it. They have the farm store and they have the retreat, and they were maxed out on their time commitments but wanted to do value-added food products. So it was a match made in heaven. And we decided to join forces with them. In that transition, it happened very quickly, I will say that, but it still was a very interesting time. We had grown this business that we were really excited about and really proud of, and we were trying to meld into like a joint situation where two families were joining up, and I was having a complete identity crisis over the whole thing and almost felt like paralyzed in my sharing. I didn't know like what to share, or if I needed to explain it to people, or maybe I needed to have a name sorted out, or we were going to keep our name. And it was just my brain was a mess. So I finally reached out to Mary, told her kind of like a high level view of what was going on with us, and just asked for her help and just said, I don't know where to go from here. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to share. I don't know. I was just standing in my own way. And she wrote back a simple email that said, just share with the people that support you. And so we did. And you don't have, basically you don't have to have it all figured out right now. And so just those words of advice were like what I needed to get past whatever was going on in my own brain that was stopping me from just sharing what was happening. And so of course, no one asked too many questions about, the details that I was trying to sort out in my head. And they all just were excited for us and supporting us as they always have. And so that was a huge impact on taking those next strides forward. So kind of want to wrap around to the community. We not only have our own following and our own community of people that support us and support our business, but the course has also brought into our life a community of other people just like us that maybe don't have entrepreneur background or do, or have all these skill sets that are now that they're flourishing in. And so we have access to this community where we can ask questions and we can bounce ideas off of people, and we can share trials and tribulations and just basically get those encouraging words when we need them, get that support along the way, and just share our story. So I'm going to go over real quick what exactly is being offered right now. Enrollment ends today. So if you've been on the fence and are still trying to kind of gather your thoughts, I hope that this is helping a little bit. I'm not exactly fluent in all of this, but I'm just showing up right where we're at and hoping that us sharing our story will encourage you to take the leap. So I want to share what exactly is being offered. So there's the small business from scratch full course. So this is everything you need to start a business. It includes workshop books. So this one is currently living on my nightstand because we just helped our Crossing Keeks farm family send out 3 trial boxes of frozen meat, and they arrived all over the country in perfect frozen condition. And so this one's been living on my nightstand. We are in a transition right now. Normally all three of the companion workbooks are on my nightstand, but so it comes with the companion workbooks. It comes with video content, in-depth resources, especially for the ag community. And I might argue that even though it's Mary calls it the rancher's locker resources, even though they are technically ag specific, I feel like it still gives ideas of what you can do, how you can market your product, the different things that you can make that can kind of bring in a little bit more of a passive income, like worksheets or ebooks or things like that. So it comes with the rancher's locker. Mary is now also doing live Q&A phone calls. So she picks a topic, something that has happened recently. She just released a cookbook, so she did a really great Q&A on if you wanted to create a book or what that process looks like. She does things like being in the press and answers questions around like, how do you do that, or why would you do that? Where do you seek out the resources to do that? How do you market yourself for that? The list truly goes on, and she is just a never-ending idea factory and constantly keeps us inspired because she's always putting out new and fresh content and just working with the time we're in. I think in this day and age, especially just the year 2020 in general, it's incredibly scary to maybe start something new. Maybe so many things have happened this year that it feels completely overwhelming. But I would encourage you to press into your passion and find a way to be resilient against all the noise and the drama and all the things that are happening in the world. Create your community, market yourself, market your passion, and really the rest will come from that. We had a really interesting time with the pandemic. So because we were shipping our perishable products direct to people's doorsteps, we were actually out of town, like right around when the official like lockdowns and the announcement of the pandemic happened. And we got back to the farm and we had a freezer full of meat. We had more orders than we could possibly fulfill in a reasonable time. We just started scaling up our business. So that was hard to take that all in, of like, we have all this goodness while the rest of the country, the rest of the world is experiencing something that is so earth-shattering. We went a lot of years not knowing like how we were going to make it all work, or just kind of having a lot of people question like what we were doing and why we were doing it. And in that moment where we had eggs all over the counter and we didn't have to worry about going to the grocery store regardless of what the governor mandates were or anything like that, it became apparent that we were following this path that we really believed in deep in our hearts. And then it led us to this moment where we were growing a business that was resilient to a pandemic and continues to be so. And that was another opportunity, another teaching moment. Mary immediately came on, explained how you can continue to be authentic, but also continue to sell to people that need your product. I think that can be really uncharted territory, because you want to be sensitive that other people are going through something, but you're also running a business. And so she helped dramatically just kind of sort out the emotions around all of that and continue to share in a genuine and kind and graceful manner. And really, she sets an example for the community. So that small business from scratch also comes with the selling and shipping from scratch. So that is going to be huge if you're trying to get your product directly to the consumer, right to their doorstep. She deals a lot in perishable products. She's an expert in that whole side of it. What we did with the sourdough wasn't written out for us in the books, but the resources that were in there really helped get us going. And we were able to do our own research and kind of fine tune what we needed to do in order to get our products into the hands of our consumers in a way that made sense. So, so live Q&As, the community. She also has social media from scratch. So this is just how to use social media, how to grow your brand, build an audience, convert followers. So she has information on algorithms within the social media platforms, how to get yourself ranked higher, and how to share in a way that is going to build a community of people that want to support you and not just grow followers because there's numbers on the page. So the social media from scratch is an amazing place to start if you just want to build a platform and start building your community in that way. She also has the beginning business boot camp, and that is a 2-week mini course, and that's fundamentals of starting a business, finding alternate source of income with a side business. So if you have an idea or you have a bunch of ideas, the boot camp is going to give you direction, and it's going to make you fine-tune your thinking a little bit more into how to create a profitable business, because she actually says that it's not a business unless it's making money. And so even if you just have a hobby right now and you want to turn it into a business, she will give you the tools and resources to do that. So those are the offerings. You have 3 different options as far as payments go. So you have the full course, that's going to be your biggest investment. Then you have the social media from scratch, and then you have the beginning business boot camp. And so those also carry their own investment on them. So if you're not ready to go all the way with it, then those would be a great place to start. I put out a call to action to get some questions if you had considered the course, and I got a couple great questions, and I'm going to go over those real quick and then kind of wrap it up. So the first question, can't you just web search all the information yourself and figure this out? Yes, absolutely. I am like a search engine. That's like my gig. Like I always say I can Google anything and figure it out. However, Mary has done the research on so much of this, especially if you are going to be selling product and trying to reach consumers in a way that you're going to get this return on your investment. So she's teased out the e-commerce details, different platforms, and why you might need one over the other. And so all of that information's in there. She's just really teased out a lot of information that she's learned over the years that will bypass you searching the internet to the depths. I mean, you could really go down a rabbit hole. And if you really want to get up and running and start a business, she has information to do that. So yes, you could web search. No, you wouldn't, you don't need to pay the money. But if you want to get started right now, if you want to get ideas going right now, this course is for you. The next one is the info for US only. I'm in Canada. Absolutely not. It's not location specific. Yes, the selling and shipping is going to be more US specific because that's where Mary is. But the ideas behind it, the way to get resources, the questions to ask, what you even need to know about selling and shipping in your country, you're going to get those ideas from the course. And then the rest of it isn't location just specific at all. Just building your brand, what things you want to do when you're creating a logo and you're personalizing what your brand looks like. So the course is going to, I wrote these notes down. So the course is going to plant the seed for you to figure anything out, ask questions, put yourself in a position of learning and realizing that nothing is a roadblock. It's just another opportunity to grow your knowledge. And this person was specifically in Canada, and I have some of my dearest, we call each other M5 sisters, part of the community, friends are in Canada, and they are rocking their businesses. So no, it's not US specific. The next question. Another account said they wouldn't recommend the course. Should I reconsider? Although this course covers, I'm going to just do it this way so I can read as well as talk. Although this course covers an infinitely broad spectrum of industries, everything is not for everyone. If the folks not recommending it are willing to elaborate on why, then you can compare their experience with what I'm sharing and make that decision for yourself. If they aren't giving an explanation, chances are high that they aren't willing to put in the work and use the resources to their advantage. You still have to work. You still have to work really hard. The taking this course isn't like a magic pill that is going to solve all your entrepreneur problems and make it easy. You still have to work really, really hard, but it takes out some of that work that isn't necessary, where you can just kind of streamline the information that you know and use that and really grow your business. Every business model, every location, every market is going to have its own nuances, and you're going to have to work through those individually. That's just the way the world works. Okay, last question and then I'll finish up. My sister makes amazing cakes from home for friends and family. She can't afford to buy or rent a building, but do you think the course would be a great start? Yes, the course helps you find a way to share your passion and your ideas and create authenticity and build a following of supporters and encouragers. So right off the top of my head, I can say that there's a lot of things you can do instead of scaling up your business, especially in food production, because that's tough in itself. She could host small classes to teach people to create what she creates, maybe make an ebook on a technique or a recipe booklet that she can sell. She can build a community of people that support her and do a crowdfunding campaign to raise the money she needs to take the next step. So we are obviously in food production. So the reasons that I feel like those come to my head immediately is because these are all ways that, like, all things that we have thought about. Because scaling up in food production is expensive and it's difficult, and there's a huge learning curve that we're understanding now. So this course is going to give her the opportunity to market herself in a way that she can make income right now on what she's doing. She can do video courses or just start where she's at. So I hope this was helpful. Especially since the pandemic hit, I am deeply passionate about not living a life that does not fuel your soul, because this life is way too short. And I truly believe that the investment in this course will take you to where you want to be. We are living a dream that we only ever thought we would dream about. And we now get to make that a reality and grow in ways that we never thought we would grow. So I hope this helps. Please reach out to me with any questions. I have another awesome thing that Mary does is she supports her entrepreneurs. And so we have affiliate links that we can share with you, and we get a kickback on that. I would not share this whole story if I didn't truly deeply believe in what we were doing and what the course has done for our lives. Of course, I hope that you can trust that. And then I also have a discount code for the full Small Business from Scratch course. You can put in Jenna, JENNA 150, and get $150 off the full Small Business from Scratch course. So I hope that this helps clarify anything that you might have had questions about with the course, and that whether you're in the course or not and you're an entrepreneur, we will, of course, support and encourage you along the way. Please just reach out to me. I'm here to answer any questions.